Those samples are not eligible to be uploaded to service.
We didn't upload those 3 profiles anywhere. We did nothing. If that's the answer, then... I don't think we resolved it. I don't think we have everything. I don't have an answer from the state saying we didn't upload those 3 profiles anywhere.
I thought that had been communicated, and I thought that the last personnel had communicated.
What's the harm of getting that information to the defense and with some kind of protective order that they can't share that anywhere?
But again, I'm not a biologist or a scientist, but I'm an attorney, who has a duty to investigate.
Innocent until settle in, man. If you're looking for a short, sweet 32-minute video, I can guarantee you this is probably not going to be it. And 9 times out of 10, you already looked at the little thing on the side of the video that tells you that how long the video is, man. This is why I pivoted, man. I'm like, yo, I really want to get all of this out, but I gotta make it make sense. You know what I mean? So the last part gonna be first, and the first part gonna be last. Like if you pay attention, you can tell part of that you just heard was actually from the first part. And when you hear the first part, which is gonna be last, maybe never mind. Let's go. I said, yo, just trying to make this video palatable, man, and I think I figured out a way, guys. So you're either gonna get 2 parts. We're going to, slim it down here, or you're just gonna get a long video. I don't know. Let's see what happens. You'll know when it drops. I want to say, ladies, I believe in you, man. Damn it. I wish I had the time to say this, but I don't, because like I said, these videos have to be palatable. I believe in you, though. I want to say that, man. A young lady came to my YouTube comment section saying some things, and basically, I'm not even going to get into that. I basically just told her, yo, I hope you stick around, because there are some wonderful women in this community that you could learn from. You could learn some compassion, and, you could learn some moral integrity from them. And I believe that about you guys. I've been with you guys, for a fair amount of time. There's never any drama in our comment sections unless it comes from outside. The majority of people commenting in the comment section are women. Shout out to my homies. Now, I see y'all too. Don't think I'm not that type of guy. I'm not downplaying y'all. I'm going to get to y'all. But the majority are women. And there's not all of the drama and stuff that I see in true crime, which is created primarily by women. When you go to these groups, the women that are verbally assaulting you, abusing you, disrespecting you, they're women. They're not mostly men. That's an uncomfortable truth, but it's true. But I believe in you guys, and I want to tell you why I'm saying this, because I've been preaching and preaching and preaching because I believe it. There's not 12 people that they could get together in one room to convict Bryan right now. It's not. The evidence isn't there. I know there are a bunch of people, from the News Nation, Nancy Grace. Notice I don't even call them those names anymore. I'm not saying I won't, but I'm not right now. Ashley Band, that crowd, they're there. Coffee After Dark, I will always call her Coffee After Dark, probably. That's Jennifer, for those of you who don't know. They're there, and they seem to be large in number, but no, there are women and men. This is when I bring my brothers in. There are people like us out there too, and they're not only going to be able to put the other side on the jury. I don't see that happening, and that's why I'm adamant that even though there are a lot of people, their voices are loud. It may not even be that many, I'm going to get into that, but their voices are very loud, that already know somehow beyond knowing, even when none of us know Bryan is guilty, they somehow know. I guess that's how 4 people were killed and everything was cleaned up and stuff, because all of these people were in on the murders. Rest in peace to those victims. It's not a game. It's nothing to play with. But we are here too, guys. And they're not going to be able to keep us off of the jury. And this is where my initial tantrum, rant, soapbox thing about believing in you women specifically comes in. One lady came to the comment section, and I could tell in her comments, I've seen other women comment like this. I just hope that the Bryanators aren't able to convince the people like us to just go along to get along. Now, a few weeks ago on Twitter, I asked the question, how many of you have ever sat on the jury? And I meant to put up a post about it, some content about it, and I may. The responses are very predictable, but still saddening, guys. There were 4 to 5 people that come in, and they told the story that you would expect to be told. There were people in there that just wanted to go home. There were people in there that didn't need the evidence to make their decision. There were all kind of horror stories that are anti how a jury is supposed to operate. And there were people that were pressured by the majority in that jury room to make a decision that they didn't want to make. We've heard stories like this. We've seen stories like this. If you hadn't, and you've planned to be a true crime fan for a while, I promise you, you will. And if you truly have a compassion for people, it will break your heart. We're going to get to the damn point. Y'all know I ramble and rant, but this isn't rambling and ranting. I'm saying something here that I think we all could benefit from hearing. Ladies, I believe in you, man. You're not some weak, feeble damn creatures that have to cry every time something doesn't go your way or something upsets you. No, that's not who you are. Even if that's who you've become, that's not who you are. I'm saying that to say I'm connecting what I hear about you guys when you encounter these Bryan-nating females that just go off on everybody and they badger you and they berate you and they disrespect you. And that's not your character. You don't respond like that. And praise God you don't, because our daughters need wonderful examples of women. Our sons need wonderful examples of women. As men, we need to look to our right and left and see wonderful examples of women. We need wonderful examples of women raising our children, and you are that. I just need to remind you, you're not weak. You don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to berate people to stand up to people like that. And what connects for me is I'm thinking that some of you may be in that damn jury room, and because you have become in many ways, and I don't say this to insult you, I'm saying this to hopefully tell you in real life, and if you ever end up in these situations, examine who you become versus who you really are. You don't have to bow down because people are pressuring you. Be you. At a point that will come with the cost, but be you. Stand up in whatever way you stand up. Use your voice with your moral integrity, your respectfulness, your dignity, but use your damn voice. Don't let nobody who don't mind ranting and raving and being disrespectful and rude as hell talk you out of who you are, how you feel, and what you think. That's not who you are. You're not weak. I need to remind you of that. The sons that you have raised, if you're a man and you've been raised like that by your parents, you are not weak. That's who you've become. Stand up and use your voice, because there are times when your voice being used is going to do what it's supposed to do, and that speaks to the rescuing of humanity. I had to say that, guys. Because when that lady said, I hope the Bryan-nators don't talk people who don't think he's guilty into just conforming and agreeing with them and presenting a verdict that they don't really want to present. That happens to us often in daily life, guys. Don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. Definitely going to be part 2 of this video, because I got to get all of this in. You're not weak. Ladies, men, you're not weak. You don't have to be rude and disrespectful to use your voice, but use your damn voice, and don't let the boastful loudmouths talk you out of doing that. If any damn thing, if it comes down to that, just let me be your example, man. I will check people in a damn minute, and sometimes I will cuss your ass out, and sometimes I'll just be surgically verbal with you, and I just tear your ass up like Ann Taylor is a perfect example of that. She's a woman, and she is surgically slicing the state's ass up. Perfect segue, man. State, you definitely need to explain why that those 3 DNA samples didn't meet the criteria for examination to be uploaded to CODIS. I forgot to say this in the rest of the video that you're gonna get. You can't just stand in the courtroom and say, well, they don't meet the criteria to be uploaded to CODIS. Okay, cool. I'm already knowing Ann Taylor ain't gonna let you get away with that horse feces. But I just forgot to mention it in the video. And then somebody said in the comment section, I'm gonna touch on that a little bit too, guys. What if the reason they don't meet the criteria are because they belong to a certain segment of people? I'm gonna go ahead and say it and stop playing with y'all ass. They belong to the police. They belong to somebody that we've all been talking about. Who are they covering for? Somebody in, the powers that be in Moscow, from the university, from the police department, from the DA's office, and the state, the government that we don't know. But is that, Mr. Thompson, why they didn't meet the criteria to be uploaded in the CODIS? And Taylor ain't gonna let your ass get away with that. So for those who are wondering, I expect, and you should too now, unless there's a reasonable, I move off of Ann Taylor. If Ann Taylor hot on something, I'm like, yo, that's something we need to be paying attention to. If it's even in my mind that, hey, what's up with this, but Ann Taylor ain't on it right now, I'm kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna wait to see what she do. The lady is too good, you know what I mean? I just got to hug a lady in the grocery store, y'all. Oh my God, y'all, we talk about my grandmas a lot, right? I'm telling you, it warmed my spirit, it made my day. I went in the grocery store kind of sad for the point that I'm gonna end on after this, and then I came out more excited. My spirit was warm. So what happened is I'm standing in line to buy my food. We're doing part 2, right? I don't want to prolong the video, make it too long, rambling and stuff. I want to get to the point. So y'all Y'all gotta tell me if y'all want to hear the end of that story, and if so, Lord willing, I will put it in part 2. Let's get back to Bryan. Bryan, man. Can you think about what this man is going through? I mentioned this a little bit in the video, guys. We're going to touch on it just a little here, and then, you know, you'll get the rest of it in the video. I watched him, man. I watched because what I want to post online is I want to watch him. I want to post a picture of him, and I just want you guys to look in his eyes. I want you to look in his eyes and tell me what you see. Not all of the hoopla and hype from the media and the proceedings and everything going on. Just look at him specifically in his eyes and tell me what you see. And that's what I'll be doing when I be looking at Bryan. I'll be looking at Bryan. I'll be looking at his body language. I'll be looking at his body movement, because that's how I read people. You know what I mean? So I was looking at him during this proceeding, man, when we could see him. And one thing I noticed about him is his jaw muscles were clenching, right? And so this is another idea from the comment section, guys. I tell you, I learned so much from you guys. I'm sorry, man. I'm a relational person. So when y'all send me this content, you send me these videos, I said in the last video, I check it out when I can, and I check out what compels me. Obviously, it's so much. I'm sorry I can't check out everything, but I do. I want y'all to take the time to send it to me so I give my best effort to it. But it's not, I really don't get a kick out of it. I got to be honest with you. I'm relational. I don't know these people. I understand y'all know them. Y'all been watching them for years on YouTube, or however long you've been watching them, and you have an affinity for them. I don't. I have an affinity for you guys, man. You come to my platform, you come to my comment section, we banter back and forth, we get to know each other. You guys are my favorite content creators. It probably will always be like that. I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years now with my other platforms. My audience has always been my favorite content creators because I'm a relational person. I don't know these other, they do the same thing. They send me all these people, hey, check this out, do this, and I do the same thing. I check out what I can and what compels me, but I'm always going to default back to you guys like I default back to them. You are my favorite content creators. I don't say that to sound good. I say it because it's the truth. So I'm probably never going to be as passionate or fired up or excited about the stuff that y'all send me that fires you up. You fire me up. That's just the bottom line. Let me get back to Bryan. So fired up on this is from my comment section, not from another creator that you guys sent me. This comes from you guys. Somebody just said something about Bryan that I can't remember specifically, and his family, and it just reminded me that I was watching him during the trial, guys. And what I saw was something that, you know, a lot of people couldn't see. They were talking about how they were using this germophobia against him, his introvert nature against him. Like, none of these things make him a criminal. The way that he spoke to the officer when they were pulled over, like that was just something wrong. None of those things make him a criminal. They make him an individual human being. And I can absolutely relate from that. And it upsets me because people are always, and you know, there are many of us who go through this. Not in a victim way it upsets me, because I frankly don't give a damn. I am who I am. If I need to do better, I will. I don't mind that. But I don't need to do better just because who I am makes someone uncomfortable, or because I won't conform to the masses. So I'm why, and I will tell people that. This is what I told a young lady in the comment section. I will tell you that. I will tell you like I just said it in respectable ways, but if I'm pissed off enough and your approach pisses me off enough, I might just curse your ass out. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying I'm human. Leave me the hell alone. I don't have to live in a way that makes you comfortable. I ain't breaking no laws. I ain't violating nobody. I ain't creating no victims. Get the hell out of my face. I don't care if you don't prefer. You know how much BS you do that I don't prefer? I don't come up to you trying to tell you how to live your life. Leave me the hell alone. None of this stuff makes me abnormal. It doesn't make me a science experiment gone wrong. It doesn't make me a criminal, and it doesn't do the same thing for Bryan. And he can't say that because he's sitting in the damn courtroom with the media putting a damn camera in his face, even though the judge say stop doing it, and I see the man clenching his jaws. I don't know if he's clenching his jaws because he's facing a death penalty in a quadruple murder trial. I don't know if he's clenching his jaws because he's reading the articles, he's seeing the press slandering him and badger him, and he's sick of it, and he wants to respond to it like damn near any human would, and he can't because it'll only make him look worse in a situation that he's already down bad in. I don't know if it's because the court proceedings are making him nervous. I don't know. I just know I'm Bryan in a lot of ways, and I feel bad for him. He might be guilty. He might be, but that it's clenching his jaws because his ass guilty, and he wondering like, damn it, am I gonna skate, or you know what I mean? They're gonna find out that I'm the one. I don't know. But since I know all of these things could be a possibility, including the fact that this is just the fifth victim here, and he can't even stand up for himself and say that without certain people using it against him to his detriment, I'll say it for him. Y'all. Let's get to the video. Who pissed you off, buddy? Damn. Let me get personal for a little bit, man. I'm very impressed by some women on this case, man. There's an idea that, you know, women are just emotional and we're supposed to accept that. I've never bought into that. There are a lot of common ideas that I never buy into, guys. But listen, man, humans are emotional, right? Just like humans are rash and brash and all of the traits, you know what I mean, that apply to humanity. I look at people as humans. I don't look at people as demographics who are just given to certain ideas and behaviors and things like that. I think when you're growing into adult, you yourself choose what ideas and behaviors you are comfortable with and you want to be a regular part of your programming, right? So anyway, I'm saying all of that to say, man, there's just something about a woman who is able to use her logic versus letting her emotions control her. I like an intellectual woman. It is attractive as hell. I know y'all do all of this beauty stuff, the superficial beauty, the outside beauty. You're doing these things with your hair. You're doing these things with your nails. You're doing these things with your clothing. In this day and age, you know, you got fitted clothing that women wear to make their body look a certain way. I just want y'all to know as a sidebar, man, there are certain men out there, and I'm one of them. That's how I can attest to this. We don't really give a damn about all of that stuff, because especially older men, we're looking past all of that to see what type of character you have. And when you're an emotional woman, you're driven by emotions and your emotions control you. I'm just trying to tell you, at my age, we've experienced women like that, and it's like the biggest red flag that you can see as a man who's thinking with his mind and not his penis. But when you're an intellectual woman, man, damn, boy, it's very telling and it's very attractive. I said all of that to talk. And Taylor just continues to impress me. I don't know this woman from a can of paint. If she's anything as a woman, as a regular woman, as she is as an attorney, damn it, woman, I'm just impressed. This woman is sharp as nails. Let's get to it. I'm going to take my time because I want this to be right. I watched, whether it was 3.5, 4 hours of that hearing yesterday. I watched every second. From what I see, I had to go to several different platforms because you got Court TV, you got Law and Crime, and they're putting it out in parts and pieces. But then you got some smaller media networks, they're putting out the whole thing. And from what I can tell, guys, the last part of the closing arguments, the defense got cut off. I don't know how much was left of that. I got to the part where she rebutted and responded to the prosecution's, arguments to her arguments. So I'm just guessing that I didn't miss much of it. But damn it, got a lot. There was a lot going on, man. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read to you guys some notes that I took. They're my notes. You're going to see how I take notes. And then we're just going to dive into my thoughts about everything that I not only wrote down, but I saw during that 3-4 hours of trial hearing that I watched. I was very, very impressed. Let me say this. By all of the parties, right? Some more than others, but I was at times very impressed by all of the parties. Let's get to these notes, man. John Judge is straight. That's literally what that note says. You're going to see how you're going to get them. And just wants to drive home the point that I have 2 here, but she said 3 other sets of DNA exist, and there are major oversights on the government's part. I wouldn't be surprised if the state tries to get that suppressed from the trial. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm reading my notes how I wrote them. Bryan is relaxed around Ann. The witnesses were great. 3 DNA samples are not eligible to be uploaded because they didn't meet the criteria, which is what the prosecution, Mr. Bill himself, stood up and said. This is a new science. I always stumble saying that word, but you know what I'm talking about. This science that comes up with this DNA and matches, it is new. That is so very relevant. That last part isn't part of my notes, but it is. Even the judge didn't understand it. He said, you can trust us. I'm offended that you don't. Then he said, you shouldn't trust us. I'm speaking of the lawyer that got up for the state to rebut the defense's arguments. What he said in the beginning of his statement, and now I'm getting off my notes a little bit because that note was obscure. What he said in the beginning, the first thing he said, he stood up and he said, well, the defense is asking us to do something that we're already doing. We're doing it because it's part of our job to do it. And then you're turning around and telling us that the judge needs to give an order for us to do it. He literally said, I'm offended by that because I'm a ward of the state. I took an oath to do this job. I signed up to do this job, and I don't need anybody to tell me to do it. I'm offended by that. So basically he's saying you can trust us that we will do the job. But then he later on, when the judge said, well, damn it, I can't remember specifically what the judge says, cuz say the FBI got the information they asking for, not us. And the judge says, well, damn it, can't you just ask the FBI to give it to y'all so y'all can give it to them? What would be the harm in that? And the same attorney for the prosecution, the state, stood up and said, he was still standing because the judge asked him a very logical question. And he said, well, hell, if we get it, then we give it to them. That's just that many more people that has the private information of all these hundreds and thousands of people, their private information, and we're exposing their private information to, and these are his words right here, I'm quoting, to all of the people on the state side and all of the people on the defense side. So, sir, you told us we can trust you. Like, literally, you stood up and that was the first thing you said. And now you're saying we shouldn't trust you guys with this information because we don't know what y'all to do with it. Boy, you done lost your damn mind. Let me get to the rest of my notes because that's that one page and we're going to get into it. I'm probably just going to go down them notes and talk about it, man. Did she just tell us what the loophole was in jet match? Just check the box and say your case is a DOE case. There's a back door in the system. If you already watched the hearing, you will understand that I'm talking about Miss Gabby V here. I don't know how to say her name right. I'm not going to butcher that woman's name. Gabby V. Another lady that I am so damn impressed. Gabby V, man, listen here, man. Gabby V was the Ann Taylor got a drawer full of knives, man, and Gabby V was like, she's just slicing every damn thing, and you already think she's doing like a hell of a job, and then she pulls out a damn bazooka, and the bazooka ain't even a great analogy for it, because Gabby V was the bazooka, and we gonna talk about Gabby V, man. Oh my, but anyway, she was telling us basically, I'm gonna shorten this because we're gonna talk about it some more later. There's a loophole in the jet match system. Okay, if you watched the hearing, if you read the document, the motions, you know that there are systems that this information, the DNA, the data, et cetera, has to be uploaded to. And you can choose as a citizen to say, hey, man, I want my DNA to only be available to the people that I'm giving access to it. And part of those people that I don't want it to be available to are law enforcement. But there are loopholes in that system. If you bypass these loopholes, they violate the terms and services of the system. Basically, you might not be breaking the damn law, but you are violating the terms and services of the system. And the law enforcement officers have literally been known to do that. There are several ways to do it. And one way that I was thinking she was telling us, but she went on to be honest with you later on to tell us several ways to get there. But one way is if you're looking for a John Doe case, then you can see everything in the system. But if you're not looking for a John Doe case, well, I shouldn't even say Doe because she specifically several times said Doe, and that could be John or Jane. But if you're not looking for a Doe case, then, and which law enforcement, aren't always looking for DOE cases, then you shouldn't be able to see everyone in the system. But one way to bypass that is to just say your case is a DOE case. Another way she mentioned to bypass that is to set up a citizen profile. You're not going in as a law enforcement, you're setting up a citizen profile. So basically what she's saying is there are rules that you need to use to get into this system, but there are ways to bypass those rules. So I was asking right there with that note, did she just tell us what one of the back doors were? At your job, man. In my career, we use what you call WMSs, warehouse management systems, and there are certain things that you can do and certain things that you can't do. I mean, I know back doors to all kind of programs, man. I'm no genius, I'm no hacker or anything, but I know several programs that are supposed to work a specific way. You're not supposed to be able to do specific things, but they're back doors. I know that. So when I'm listening to a lot of this stuff, and we're going to get into this too if I don't forget, it's just making sense to me that the opportunity, and I know this from my business too, you try to eliminate this. The opportunity for human failure is there. It exists and it looms large. In my business, we try to eliminate that as much as possible. The problem is the tools that we use to eliminate the opportunity for human error are created by humans. So they themselves come in with built-in opportunities for human failure. I think Judge John is going to make them give up the files. This is early on. He made me question my statement there later. But early on, I took this note. I think Judge John is going to make them give up the files if the DNA is his, Bryan's, but they got it illegally. What would that change for you? Now, I'm going to delve into that note a little bit too, but just a little. Judge John later on asked this question. He said, would it matter if you found out that the information was maintained illegally if it still was Bryan's? Would it matter? Basically, guys, this is a question that everybody needs to ask themselves. I had to ask myself this question as well. Especially if you think Bryan may be innocent, if you think he's innocent, you need to ask yourself this. If this evidence is still pointing to Bryan, Would it and he is the culprit here. Would it matter to what would it change for you if it was attained illegally? If Bryan is the killer here and the evidence that he is attained illegally, would you say, okay, well, he deserves to walk? Because legally he would. There are some processes that if they were legally broken, they would mean he deserves to walk, even if he is the killer. But, or would you say, well, nah, bro, you guilty. I know they found out the wrong way, but bro, you guilty, so you got to go ahead and pay for that. What would it change for you specifically? That's what I would want to know. And Judge John actually asked the defense counsel that himself. He said, what would it change? What would it matter? Ann Taylor is so fire. I'm going to read it. I want to say this note for later, but I got to read it. She went and got someone LE calls on themselves. She went and got someone the law enforcement calls on themselves. The only way to discredit her is to say law enforcement uses a flawed genetic genealogist, and that is Gabby V. I told y'all, remember, she is the bazooka. I'm not going to go into that. We're going to get into that later, Lord willing. This entire proceeding a look at what the prosecution wants for this whole case, in my estimation. They want to see Ann Taylor's case first so they can then go and repair a rebuttal around it, which is part of what they did at the end. They said, hey, man, we're going to tell you what we think about what she said today, but we're also going to go and confer with our own experts, which is fair. And then we're going to come back and see if we need to call these witnesses to the stand again. I don't even know if the judge is going to be able to rule on this. Like I said, part of the, the last part of the hearing was cut off in this video that I watched. So I don't even know what his final statements were or the defense's final statements. And my final note, guys, they got to prove it's his DNA. Maybe they already have. Maybe we're past that part. I'm not sure, man. They got to prove they got it legally. We're definitely not there yet. They got to prove it means he murdered 4 people, guys. I want to repeat that last note. I'm 12 minutes in. We're going to get into this video. They got to prove it's his DNA. Some of you may say they already have. I'm not there yet. They got to prove they got it legally. They got to prove it means he murdered 4 people. They don't have a case, guys. They don't have a case. Let's get into this, man. Let me tell you how I watched this. I was watching it, and then I was realizing, number one, the volume is horrible on this, man. The volume is horrible on this. Like, I'm switching the headphones because I got, I'm kind of fancy. I'm rich, and I'm lying. I got Beats by Dre's, right? I got the ones you put over your ear, and then I got the ones like the studio, Beat Studio, like, the best ones you can get. Then I got the ones that are like the little hooks. Y'all call them, what y'all call them? The little, y'all put them in y'all ears, the earbuds. My ears holes are so small, I can't wear earbuds. So I have to buy the earbuds that have the hook that goes over your ear. I got those. Then I'm turning all those off. I'm just trying to listen on my phone. I'm just trying to listen on my computer. That's the first thing. Like, so some of the stuff, I'm not even gonna lie, I missed. I'm noticing that the media is committed to getting stories that they could spin. There were times that I was so upset, and I think Bryan may have been as well. You could see his jaw clenching if you watch him. But the only reason I could see his jaw clenching is because they were assessing about putting the camera. I mean, they weren't even trying to hide it. They would stop in the middle of a testimony or something and train the camera on Bryan. I mean, zoom in, train the camera on Bryan. I made a video that you guys probably aren't going to get, and it was back when I was having a discussion on Twitter about whether or not cameras should be allowed in the courtroom. Back then I was saying no. I'm still leaning toward no, and I know many of you disagree with me, and that's okay, because obviously I disagree with you in part as well. But these are the things that are why, guys, because they're going to try to... Like, how disrespectful do you have to be? I agree with someone who said it on Twitter. I called her name a lot, so I won't do it here, but I seen her say it. Y'all are the reason that we didn't get to watch this hearing live. Y'all are very probably, because I don't know that, the reason that we didn't get to watch this hearing live, because Judge John told you guys don't do that, and then you did it, and then we don't get to watch it live, but then we come back and you're doing it again. For that reason alone, man, the disrespect to the judge, the disrespect to Bryan, in his predicament, I wouldn't be mad if Judge John or whoever the judge was says y'all can't be in here. Listen, guys, respectfully, I don't give a damn how you feel about it. Your feelings are not more important than the judge's orders and that man's right to privacy. Whatever privacy he has a right to in that courtroom, man. When they are in the middle of a hearing, stopping from filming the courtroom and literally zooming in on this man's face, which they did several damn times. I was so freaking frustrated watching that, and I promise you, freaking ain't the damn word I wanted to say. I don't care if the judge said. I wouldn't be mad if they just said we could only get the damn audio, because the disrespect is uncalled for and it shouldn't be accepted, because it's not acceptable. Those are some thoughts I had. Now let me go back through my notes, and I'm going to tell you, I will start with Gabby V. Just so I don't miss her. I'm going to start with Gabby V just so I don't miss telling you guys what I want to say about this damn lady. I was so impressed by her. I was also wrong about her. I did another video, man, Sips Water. And I didn't tell you these things because I don't, offending people is unnecessary if you don't have to, right? And people are sensitive. I don't know. I'm sensitive about certain things, man, but I don't know who listens and supports me, that you may be sensitive and you may not know how to process what I'm saying in a way that you don't take it personal and, get offended. And, people are so finicky, man. You don't know what's going on. So for me, if I don't have to offend you, I won't. But damn it, if I got to say something, I'm going to say it, right? Early on, guys, you guys were sold on Leah Larkin. Mind you, I don't know Leah Larkin. I don't know Gabby V. I don't know any of these people. I know them the same way most of you know them. We see them in this trial. We see them introduced in this hearing, in this criminal proceeding. But I wasn't feeling, Leah Larkin the way y'all, from the very outset. And I went and read her motion. I seen y'all made me do it. I seen y'all in the comments talking about, well, she's this, she's that. She invented this, she invented that. Well, I said, you know what, man? Besides just doing, an overview, a logical overview, let me actually go and read some motions. Something I've never done, guys. Something I probably won't do again. And if I do it, it'll be here and there. I'm lazy, right? I just want what we got right there. I'd rather watch 4 hours worth of hearing myself than sit down and read some motions that now half of that stuff I don't even understand. I didn't understand some of it hearing it. And that's not a bad thing because damn it, the judge himself literally said, I don't understand it. But back to the point. I wasn't feeling Leah Larkin, guys. Am I not feeling her? I read people. I go off of things. You guys may need to hear and see. I'm watching you. I might be watching you more than I'm watching or listening to what you're saying. That's just how I go. So with Leah Larkin, while I was reading what she said about it, I'm already knowing, if you watch my video, expert versus expert, everybody claims to be an expert, but how has your expertise been productive and effective and successful in real life situations? That's my take. So I'm already looking at all these experts like, yo, I don't trust water to get wet. Why the hell do I supposed to trust you just because you show up claiming that you're an expert? The only reason I trusted Leah Larkin is because Ann Taylor brought her to the table. And damn it, by now, I think Ann Taylor, my girlfriend, you got a husband, young lady, I mean, no disrespect. I just be talking. But Ann Taylor just fire, man. This lady is fire. Like, the prosecution, y'all in trouble, man. That's the only reason I trusted Leah Larkin initially. Then I went and read, her affidavit. Okay, that increases my trust a little bit more. But then she introduces Gabby V. Now, this is where I was wrong about Gabby V. Her presentation versus Leah Larkin's presentation, not even in the same ballpark. Doesn't mean what Leah Larkin is saying isn't true. It's just not in the same ballpark. I know over here with Gabby V, I'm dealing with a different type of woman. I literally said in the video, guys, I'm going to embarrass myself and tell y'all what I said because you're not going to get the video. I said, man, this woman right here got to be fine. She got to be well put together. She got to carry herself in the utmost classy way. Like, I'm just talking about her physical appearance. Now, I ain't even damn seen the woman. I'm just looking at how she writes what she puts on paper, and it was just impeccable to me. And the way that she was being, you also said this in the comments, guys. You said the expert has to be relatable. Gabby V was relatable. Leah Larkin was more mechanical. I'm just giving you my opinion and my impression. All right, you might have read it a different way. So now when Leah Larkin walks in the courtroom, she is the same person that I saw on paper. Very good. She was good at what she did. She explained it. I didn't understand all of it, but she was mechanical, right? She was mechanical. Very good. I said that in my notes. You seen I said the witnesses were great, and I was talking about her included. But here come Gabby V.
Who all about to have a heart attack? 2 minutes and 9 seconds past 32 minutes. Told y'all we gotta do part 2.
Does law enforcement have access to all of the emails?
If properly uploaded, there is a fee that you must pay. You must upload through a separate database than the one in which consumers upload through. You must pay the fee, and you, depending on the case, may be limited on the matches that you are able to see.
Why is that?
The terms of service have changed several times since the Golden State Killer case came out, and which investigative genetic genealogy became very popular. It used to have everyone opted in, then GEDmatch opted everybody out, and you had to choose to opt in to law enforcement match as a consumer. Then it decided to automatically opt Doe cases in. So to break that down, if you were to take a DNA test in Ancestry and want to upload to GEDmatch, when you input that file, it's going to ask you, do you consent to law enforcement matching? And if you hit no, and I am working violent crime non-Doe case, I should not be able to see that you are a match to my unknown DNA contributor.
You said should not.
Should not.
Does it happen anyway?
It does. It has.
Just in case anybody feeling the way, because I'm describing how I see women as a heterosexual man. I'm a heterosexual man. Welcome to Innocent Until.